Hey everybody, welcome to Building Champion Worship. I'm Jimmy Fisher, and today I am so excited to have two pastors here from Faithful Central with us. Pastor George is over our stewardship ministry, and we want you to check out his show, Dollars and Cents. As well as Pastor Liana here, she's over our college age ministry, and check out her show, Real Talk with Pastor Liana. And we're actually going to be talking about fasting. At the beginning of each year, Faithful Central does a Daniel Fast, and we want to kind of dive into both a Daniel Fast and a financial fast. I don't know if you've ever heard of a financial fast, but we're going to hear about that today. So welcome you guys to Building Champions.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
So we're going to talk about fasting. And Pastor Liana, I want you to talk about the importance of fasting and really actually what is fasting about?
A lot of times when people or Christians hear about fasting, it immediately feels intimidating.
Right.
It feels like, oh, those are for the super spiritual people. Like, you know, me and Jesus, we're not there yet, you know. But I think the truth of the matter is, when you read the scriptures, when you read the Bible, fasting is not really an optional thing. The Bible doesn't even say like if you want to fast or when you want to fast. It says when you fast, right? In Matthew, Jesus says when you fast, assuming that fasting is something that Christians do. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of us, it's not a part of our routine of life.
Right.
And so I think one of the ways to really just approach fasting, first of all, is to know that there's no one reason in the Bible why it says to fast. There's no one specific reason why it says to fast. You just see many stories, people's lives, and encounters of times when they did fast.
Right.
And all of those times had one thing in common, and that was there was a level of expectancy from God. Whether it was an expectancy for strength, Jesus on his way to Calvary, you know what I'm saying? Esther on her way to see the king when she had to do something that was technically illegal, but she knew it was of spiritual benefit to her people. She said, hey, we have to fast.
Right.
You know, Daniel, when he came up against opposition from, you know, evil authorities, they fasted. You know, when there was a demon that needed to be casted out, Jesus said, hey, you can only do this through prayer and fasting. So the truth of the matter was there was a variety of different times when they fasted, but fasting was always centered around some type of expectancy for God to show up in some capacity, spiritually, physically, financially, whatever it was. It was like, hey, God, I need something from you, you know, and no, they couldn't command the results, right? But it was definitely an intentional way of saying, God, we need you. We want you to show up. We want it to be clear. We want it to be evident. We want it to be specific. We want to be intentional.
Right. And what's so exciting about that as a pastor is why we like for people to do a fast. One of them is so that someone gets a breakthrough. And we always start off the beginning of the year. If you notice, Jimmy had said at the beginning of the year that we do that because the first thing we want to do is that we want to pray and fast. You see so many stories of that in the Bible. And that we do it and we don't look glum or we don't look down. That we say we start off the year by putting God first. And then doing it. It's like later on we're going to talk about the financial fast, but in the Daniel fast and the financial fast is that it involves sacrifice.
That's
God has been so good to you, and then we learn to take things for granted. We're like, look, this is our car, this is our this is that. We say, but when we fast, we say, God, you know what? Everything belongs to you. You know that says that in Psalms 24:1, that everything belongs to God. Then we start fasting and praying, saying that, God, let's just look at what happens when we get our basic necessities. That way, if we stop eating apples for a month, then when you get an apple, that apple tastes that much better, that much sweeter because we took that.
But let's talk about this side of it, because fasting really has to do with denying yourself of something so that you can concentrate on your spiritual aspect of your life. And so that whole denial, I mean, it takes you almost back to the Garden of Eden where you know, God said, do not eat of these two trees. And every other tree, you can have all the other trees you want, but these two do not touch. And there's something human about us that we just, if you're denied it, I mean, you could not even really like hamburgers. But if you tell somebody, you can't have a hamburger for a whole month.
All you see is hamburger stands.
All you see is hamburger.
All you see.
And that so many times for us as believers, we need to understand that when we deny ourselves because we are seeking a spiritual breakthrough, like you said, or a spiritual encounter, that's when God can talk to us. And as humans, we need to do that. There's a part of us that needs to be denied and kill the flesh. You know, Paul says, I die daily.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to just be food. Yes, when we look in the scriptures, it was always surrounded by food. But one thing we know about our relationship with Christ is it's always about the principle. It's always about the point. What is God communicating? So yes, in that day and time, food was probably, what else is there to deny, right? But like,
deny TV.
But in our culture, the real question becomes, what is so important to you that it would be difficult to give up, right? So yes, we're doing food, we're saying the Daniel Fast, but we're not here to be sticklers. We're here to say, hey, intentionally give up something. So in our culture, it could be social media, it could be TV, it could be secular music, it can be a food item, it can be all kinds of things. But the question is, are you sacrificing?
So let's talk about the specific Daniel Fast. Us here at Faithful Central, we do what is called the Daniel Fast. So you want to go ahead and define that?
Well, we've simplified it to, you know, meats, sweets, and define sweet however you choose, you know, and alcohol. You know, for the duration of 21 days. But once again, Bishop is real clear on whatever your personal dietary needs are. Make sure you are following your dietary needs that the doctor has prescribed to you. But if you can do meat, sweets, and alcohol, do that. If you need to modify it, just to make sure you're sacrificing.
We're saying deny yourself of those, not don't do meat,
right. We ain't telling you to turn up for the next 21 days.
For 21 days, we deny ourselves meat, sweets, and alcoholic treats.
But we replace it, or I don't say replace it, but we infuse it with intentionality of spiritual practice.
This is not just a diet. This is not just a dietary thing, but it is denying something of your flesh so that your spirit can grow. So let's talk about the financial fast, because we've added that these last couple of years. So what is that part of it?
The financial fast, quite simply, is taking 21 days out to just remove things that are barriers for people in the area of finances. Earlier we talked about in the Bible about how they denied certain areas of food, but in a lot of areas it's a stronghold. So what we do is we try to get rid of things that hold people back. The first one is we always want people to do good. You guys know good stands for get out of debt. We want people to get off of plastic crap. You know, that's credit cards. So what we do is we outline 21 days specifically of what they're going to walk through. But the number one thing is use the word denial, but I want to make sure we use the word sacrifice. And then we have a set plan of how they're going to run for 21 days. And then people will actually take some of those habits and run beyond that time. Good. So one of the first elements, obviously, you guys know, is we go to cash. When people use debit cards, they spend 10% more. We use credit cards, spend about 20% more. So the first thing is go to cash. And then also, there's a very big aspect of prayer in this. So always we're going to do pray where we do that. So we also go over our SOAP. That's in for scripture, observation, application, and prayer. There'll be more information regarding that we'll also attach to the video as well.
Once again, you're tuning in to Building Champion Worship, and we are having a great conversation about fasting. And I want to know from you guys, if those who are listening to us, how can they get involved with the fast? You know, if they don't come to Faithful Central, how can they be a part of the fast?
First thing is, to be involved with the fast, all you have to do is also just go to our website at Faithful Central and then click on fast, and they'll give you a pamphlet of information that'll let you be able to participate and then be interactive with us. Fast stands for focus and then act, and then we sacrifice, and then we trust God. So you want to go to @FinancialFast and then also continue to send us information by emailing and also just interacting with us.
You can also follow us on social media. All the platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are all Faithful Central. So we'll be encouraging you guys throughout the journey to fast with us.
Right. You can also use the hashtag FCBC Fast to post your own testimonies and all of those things that will help us know that you're out there and that God is using you in this upcoming year. So I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It has been informative, and I hope that you've gotten something out of it. We hope that you would like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos. And we'll see you next time on Building Champion Worship.